Live pictures from Mexico City and Mexico. Canada are underway, Graham, and Canada in their red traveling uniforms with the white trim, and Mexico in their traditional green and white. I reported 120,000. As you get a look at the referee, Mr. Benny Ulloa. The entire officiating crew is from Costa Rica. Horacio Quesada and Luis Torres, as quickly Mexico is on the attack. Just underway, Azteca Stadium. Ramon Ramirez playing it forward for Aspe, and it'll be a throw-in for Mexico as we take a look at the starting lineup for Mexico.
And a very flexible 4-4-2. Campos in goal, Gutierrez, Suarez, Ramirez, and Ramirez at the back. Ambris, Patino, Garcia, and Flores in midfield, and Sanchez and Garcia up front.
And for Canada, Forrest, Yallop, Watson, Samuel, and Sweeney.
And David Norman comes in place of Lyndon Hooper, Colin Miller, and Carol Valentine also in midfield. Dominic Mobilio comes in place of Dale Mitchell, Alex Bundry, and John Catliffe, the other striker.
And as we expected, it is pressure right away by the Mexicans, and Bobby Lenarduzzi suggesting they have to try and withstand the first 15 to 20 minutes.
And that's stating the obvious. Mexico's coach, Dr. Miguel Baron, obviously wants to get the first goal in front of this huge crowd at the Azteca Stadium.
Benny Ulloa, the referee, has plenty of World Cup experience. He was a linesman in '86, and he was a referee in Italia '90. Bunbury can't get away. Luis Flores, Catliffe gets a foot in, and this is Bunbury for Valentine. Play on, says the referee, Mr. Ulloa. Making the run was Garcia Aspe, and it's cleared into touch by Colin Miller, the captain of this Canadian side. Ramon Ramirez at midfield for Mexico. For Ambris. Looking for Luis Garcia. And Randy Samuel will be Garcia's shadow. And you mentioned the two men up front for Mexico. Very important, Garcia and Sanchez. Just underway, Azteca Stadium, the third largest stadium in the world, can accommodate as many as 140,000 people, and today they estimate 120,000 plus, as the starting keeper for Canada, 25-year-old Craig Forrest, in his fourth season with Ipswich in the English Premier Division. To midfield, Mike Sweeney. Nick Dasovich is in the starting lineup. That comes as a bit of a surprise, Graham, because we had him listed as a substitute. So there is a change for Bobby Lenarduzzi in warm-up.
And it looks very much as if Nick Dasovich has taken over from David Norman, who was slated to go into midfield. Not a bad move.
In fact, that's what when we saw the lineup early today, you suggested that Dasovich might be the better player to have in midfield, as the Mexicans now make a lovely through ball, looking for Garcia, but Forrest was there for Canada. So the first opportunity of the game goes to Mexico, and Forrest makes the save on Garcia. Patino through the middle, and this is Luis Garcia. Juan Ramirez, Ambris. Juan Ramirez for Sanchez, Ambris. This is Claudio Suarez to the top of the box, and it'll run too far. But so far, Canada hard-pressed as you get a look at Carl Valentine, who has been very impressive in Canada's recent wins over El Salvador and Honduras. Ramon Ramirez. Plays it square for Ambriz. Suarez overlapping. You see Bunbury giving chase. And Bunbury will intercept. Catliffe. And the Mexicans apparently very worried, Graham, about the height of John Catliffe.
And referee Bernie Ulloa blowing that tackle by Ambriz down right away. And it's been very difficult trying to get team information out of Mexico City. You can imagine that, and we're trying to discover who is not in the lineup we give you originally. It looks very much as if it's Dominic Mobilio who is on the bench.
Frank Yallop, the 29-year-old Frank Yallop, who also plays with Ipswich. Juan Ramirez. Valentine, Catliffe, Bunbury. Mobilio does make a run, Graham, on the left-hand side. I think your first thought is the right one, that it is David Norman. Dasovic gets the foot up. Play on, says the referee, Mr. Ulloa. There's Mobilio. Sweeney overlapping. Cuts it into the box, and taking control is Juan Ramirez for Mexico. Juan Ramirez. There is a Ramon Ramirez, and we'll try to identify them for you. The Mexicans also have two Garcias in the lineup. Luis Garcia is one of their strikers. They also have Alberto Garcia Aspe, and that's how we will try and identify him for you as well. A win by Canada in Mexico would almost guarantee them a spot at USA 94. Luis Flores will play it back. Big John Catliffe gets in the way of Ambriz. Raul Gutierrez. Flores. Dasovic over. There's Mobilio wearing number 14 and number 9, John Catliffe. Gutierrez was the throw-in. Ambriz. Patino makes a run on the left. Now here's a chance. Garcia, top of the box, tries to chip it in. Patino. Patino will trail it into the side of the net, and the Mexicans very quick.
Very quick, and obviously trying to impress their home crowd. Good play by Garcia, who only on Thursday was playing for Atletico Madrid against Parma in the Cup Winners' Cup semi-final, so he must be feeling a little bit of jet lag.
Well, in fact, that was one of the things that the Mexicans were a little worried about, because he flew to Spain, then went on to Italy, to Parma, and then just returned yesterday from Italy to play in this game.
But a very dangerous striker.
Here is Bunbury! Catliffe, and it's headed away. Valentine trying to turn. David Norman cuts it in. So there is David Norman in the lineup. And I think it may be Mark Watson who is out of the lineup, because we haven't seen Mark Watson touch the ball yet for Canada, Graham. Juan Ramirez. Ambriz. And it runs too far for Alberto Garcia. And this is Hugo Sanchez, the 34-year-old Hugo Sanchez, who played with Real Madrid. And there's some feeling in Mexico among some of the media that Sanchez should not be on the team. That is, it has really passed him by.
Well, 34-year-old is certainly not too old for a goal scorer. He knows how to pace himself, and certainly when he gets inside the box, he's a crafty old veteran.
Patino plays it square. Luis Flores. And then it just skips under the foot of Ramon Ramirez. Ramon Ramirez with one goal in this third round of qualifying. Frank Yallop looking for Catliffe. The leading goal scorer in this round for Mexico is number 4, Ignacio Ambriz. Claudio Suarez to midfield for Mexico, still scoreless. Azteca Stadium, Canada and Mexico. Patino lays it off. Ramirez headed away by Randy Samuel, then finally cleared away by Mike Sweeney. Ambriz. Top of the box, hooked through. Here's a chance and way over the bar as Forrest a little upset with the defending Luis Garcia again with the opportunity.
Not a bad effort. Tries to hook it on the turn, but gets way underneath it. Very difficult to get that ball on target, and Craig Forrest not even troubled by it.
Craig Forrest with 15 caps internationally for Canada. Midfield, Dasovic. Samuel. This is Sweeney. The challenge is from Hugo Sanchez. Yallop. Catliff can't win the ball. Dasovic, Alec Bunbury. Was looking for the overlap run and had the pass cut off. This is Ramon Ramirez for Mexico. Luis Flores. Lovely through ball, offside called, no. Now did the flag go up on the far side by Mr. Luis Torres, but once again, Garcia, nice angled runs by Mexico.
Beautiful 1-2, definitely offside, you can see there on the replay. Whistle was blown and Frank Yallop will take the free kick. But they're very quick, very clever on the ball.
Bunbury for Mobilio. Valentine, Catliff, Bunbury are all in the box, and Mobilio, who got the tying goal at Swangard Stadium to lead the comeback for Canada in their 3-1 win over Honduras. And Mobilio, what a turn of events for Dominic, because he was at one point dropped from the Canadian side. "15 minutes have been played, and for Canada, if you're Bobby Lenarduzzi, you must be happy with the start."
Absolutely delighted with the start. Simply because it looks very much as if he's playing 3 men at the back and 5 in midfield, 2 up front. So it's not a bad formation, but this Mexican side can strike very quickly.
And there was a thought, of course, Graham, as well, that the Canadian side may be just a little intimidated by the size of the crowd, but Bobby Lenarduzzi quick to point out that many of his players have played in front of large crowds. Alberto Garcia Aspe. You see David Norman step for step. Now this is Hugo Sanchez. Ramon Ramirez. 1-2, couldn't get through all the red shirts. Luis Flores. Too far and finally cleared away by Dominic Mobilio. Raul Gutierrez to take this throw in for Mexico. Suarez. And no trouble for Forrest. But when you think of the players who have played in front of large crowds, there are several.
Well, the only one in this Canadian side who's played at Azteca in front of a comparable crowd is Mike Sweeney. Dale Mitchell was the other one, but on his 35th birthday, little groin pull keeps him out of the starting lineup.
David Patino with the run. Dasovic gets in the way enough to slow him up, and it's cleared by Frank Yallop. The captain, Colin Miller. Too far for Bunbury. Juan Ramirez for Mexico to midfield. And it'll run too far as they try and spring Hugo Sanchez on the left wing.
Well, Hugo Sanchez certainly doesn't want a ball hit in front of him for him to chase. At his age, he's going to want everything to feet. When he gets it at his feet, then he can do something with it. But to ask him to chase along with Randy Samuel or Frank Yallop, that's definitely not on, not for Hugo.
Juan Ramirez, lovely through ball. Luis Flores, Sweeney to mark him. Patino following up. Now they'll play it wide right. Suarez, and then he gives it away top of the box, and Sweeney will clear. Bunbury can't control. But so far in this game, except for maybe 1 or 2 runs downfield, it has been all Mexico in the first half from Azteca Stadium. World Cup qualifying soccer here on TSN. Patino, Sweeney to mark. Patino to the edge of the box. Patino, and he tried to tuck it in the near post and couldn't. You don't want to get caught, I would think, ball watching as we get our first look at Bob Lenarduzzi and his bench. And you can see Paul Fennick, Paul Pescosolido. Eddie Berdusco is now listed as one of the substitutes. That is a bit of a change. So maybe during the pregame warm-up, he noted some nagging injuries.
Well, I know it was a big blow to Bobby Lenarduzzi to have to start without Lyndon Hooper. Hooper has been outstanding in the 3 previous games.
Luis Flores, Patino, Flores, Dasovic gives chase. Gutierrez, Ambriz, and the Mexicans will play it back.
Well, the Mexicans are keeping control, trying to make the red shirts come out. Right now, there's a thick red line of red shirts right across the edge of the box. Mexicans trying to make them come out and challenge.
Valentine will get the toe in, and it will be a corner for Mexico. When last we spoke with Mexico City, about 20 minutes ago, the reported temperature was about 28 degrees Celsius under partly cloudy skies. And a concern, of course, whenever you play in Mexico City, number 1, the altitude, temperature, and pollution.
Not a bad effort by Suarez there, challenged by Samuel, got his head to the ball, but couldn't get the direction on it. And for those of you who've been as confused as we are on the starting lineup, we've now decided that it's Mark Watson who's not in the lineup. Dasovic takes his place, and it looks as if Canada's playing with 4 in midfield and only 2 up front. Bunbury and Catliffe up front. Miller dropping back to help the 3 back men. And in Azteca Stadium, that's not a bad formation.
Luis Garcia tries to get around Randy Samuel and Kent, and that will be the matchup. Before even going, Samuel knew that he would be marking Garcia. Dasovic on the back of Flores, heels it back, looking for Garcia Aspe.
And Bunbury gets all the way back to tackle.
Alberto Garcia Aspe with 1 goal so far for Mexico in this round of qualifying. Yes! As somehow Ramon Ramirez was able to skip it through and tuck it in the near post, and it really caught Craig Forrest.
And it caught Craig Forrest with one eye on Hugo Sanchez at the near post as Ramon Ramirez just hit a hopeful ball across. Gets to the byline, knocks it across. Now look at Sanchez at the near post. Forrest takes his eye off the ball, looks at Sanchez, it goes in off Forrest. 1-0 Mexico. Bad goal to give up, but give full marks to Hugo Sanchez. He may be past it, but he knows where to take up position. That ball was knocked back, so Hugo Sanchez could not be offside. 1-0 to Mexico. Now Canada have to try and push forward and get the equalizer.
Ramon Ramirez scores for Mexico. And for Ramirez, this is 2nd goal of this round of qualifying, and it comes in the 21st minute. Innocent looking play, but You're right. Forrest went down, and he had to keep his eye on the other player. There were no Canadians around.
Hugo Sanchez made such a beautiful run to the near post. I'm really surprised that he didn't dive forward to try and make contact with the cross, because I'm sure that's what Forrest was anticipating, and was as surprised as the 120,000 people in this ground to see the ball end up in the back of the net.
Sweeney. Mobilio, surrounded by green and white of Mexico. Luis Flores, Ambriz, and they'll come wide left. Alberto Garcia Aspe. Flores. Patino makes a run wide right. Flores for Patino. Valentine, the Canadian 7, goes over to cover the Mexican 7. Look at this. Garcia Aspe. And Forrest standing his ground. It remains 1-0 Mexico. World Cup qualifying soccer on TSN. Over Canada on Ramon Ramirez goal at 21 minutes.
And Mexico very, very efficient at Azteca Stadium. In the previous 2 games, they'd scored 6, only given up 1. So it doesn't look as if Canada will get a hatful of goals in this game. All they have to do is to get back into it and get the next goal.
But so far, and we've played some 25 minutes now, the game has been played down at the Canadian end. Ambriz goes wide right. Gutierrez, Garcia, Juan Ramirez for Mexico at midfield. Luis Flores, and they're not shy about moving people around, are they? I mean, Flores will be on the right, he'll be on the left, he'll be at the back, and he'll be up front. And nobody really has a position. They all play freely. Through ball for Catliff didn't work, and Colin Miller will clear.
But it's going to be a very, very long afternoon for John Catliff and Alex Bunbury. The 2 front men up against 4 green shirts at the back are going to have a very tough job.
Now you see Jorge Campos, the keeper for Mexico, the 26-year-old. They say he is like Higuita in Colombia. He likes to come out and play like a defender, midfielder. And sometimes he gets caught. So far, though, the Mexican keeper Campos has not been challenged as we look at the Mexican bench, coached by the doctor, the dentist, Miguel Beron, who coaches Monterrey in the Mexican National League. Ambriz from long distance. No problem for Forrest is Catliff. This is Valentine wide right. And Canada making one of their few runs now into Mexican territory. And they award it goal kick. Jorge Campos, the 26-year-old keeper for Mexico. Luis Flores. Too far for David Patino. And obvious Mike Sweeney nursing a bruised left hand. As you get a look at just a quick look at the some 120,000. They opened the doors, this game being played at noon, at high noon, Mexico City time. They opened the doors at 8:45 in the morning, and by 9:30, 45 minutes later, the seats were full. Garcia Aspe makes the tackle. Dasovic, Frank Yellop now, too far for Bunbury.
I mentioned earlier how effective Mexico were at the Azteca. The last time they lost a game was in June 23rd, 1981. In case you're counting, that's 4,321 days ago.
Juan Ramirez sees open space and decides to take it. He'll play it left for Garcia Aspe. Ramon Ramirez, the goal scorer, will play it square, and David Norman is there to clear. Raul Gutierrez for Hugo Sanchez to the far post, and Samuel is there. Gutierrez tries to hook it down. Here's a chance, and Forrest is there for Canada as Luis Flores.
Good goalkeeping. Craig Forrest right on the edge of the 6-yard box, but already we've seen that Ramirez, who's supposed to be a fullback, has scored the goal. Gutierrez has come up for a shot. Suarez has had a header on goal. They're all having a go at goal here, and it looks right now as if there's 12 green shirts on the field as opposed to the 11 red ones for Canada. Mexico full of confidence, pushing the ball around beautifully.
And there was really no lack of confidence on the Canadian side either, Graham. I mean, Bob Lenarduzzi talked a very positive attitude going to Mexico City, saying that the team was playing well and they just had to withstand some of the pressure. But certainly they haven't done anything here in this first half so far to build that confidence. Ambriz, Garcia Aspe, Ramon Ramirez, Juan Ramirez, Luis Flores for Sanchez, and his pass in front quickly taken in by Forrest for Sweeney. Sweeney looking for Catliffe. Catliffe, and Suarez is there to mark him. And the foul is called, and it's called by Mr. Ulloa, and appears to be called on Catliffe.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other there, and Catliffe got the decision against him. Wouldn't be surprised if that happens quite a few times with 120,000 Mexicans in the ground, but so far referee Ulloa has done a very good job. Kept the game going nicely.
Patino tries to slide it through for Garcia, and then Garcia takes the dive, and Samuel saying, come on.
Yeah. Well, he might have got away with that one in Madrid, but he won't get away with that one at the Azteca. Wasn't even close.
Mobilio couldn't control at midfield.
Well, they say when you play in Mexico City, the altitude is a problem, the pollution is a problem, and it's true. I've been there, I've covered the World Cup, spent 6 weeks there, and boy, it does affect you. And Canada will really find this tough going this afternoon.
Ramirez, Flores wide left, Luis Garcia, Sanchez, top of the 6-yard box. Ramon Ramirez to the far post and over the head of Sanchez. Patino, Sweeney to mark him. Here's Patino. Patino can't get through as Yallop stood his ground. And now this is Sweeney. Suarez will gather it in for Mexico. Flores. Norman following Flores. Look at the way the Mexicans push this around. Garcia. Here's a chance. Oh my, Garcia Aspe. It was wide open for Aspe. He put it over the bar. And now, Canada looking for the offside.
And they should have got it. Definitely should have got it. Not on this one, but on that one. As soon as he shot the ball, it was offside. Luckily, they weren't punished for it. Now, number 4, who is Ambries, is a good 5 yards offside, but they allowed play to go on. And Canada very lucky not to be down 2-0 there.
And it was Sanchez who missed the first opportunity, and then Garcia Aspe following up. Put it up and over the bar. It remains 1-0 Mexico on the goal by Ramon Ramirez at 21 minutes. And there he is, the goal scorer, who was able to tuck it in the short side. Suarez. And right there, Randy Samuel in and over the back of number 10, Garcia. And Garcia is quickly finding out that Samuel will be his shadow.
And let's see if Alberto Garcia Aspe tries one from here, or if they've worked out a clever little move. Usually when Hugo Sanchez is involved in a free kick, it's a clever little play they've rehearsed.
Ambries is the captain, and he is in your picture now. To his left is Garcia Aspe, number 8. Number 4, Ambries. Ambries. Oh, good save by Forrest as Ambries had a go.
Great effort by Ignacio Ambries. Knocked it right through the wall. Have a look at this. Right past the wall, straight at Craig Forrest, but with that power, the keeper did ever so well to push it over the bar.
Once again, Craig Forrest directing his defenders as Garcia Aspe will take this corner. Ambries. Flores plays it through. Garcia. Ambries. Ramon Ramirez. Little give and go. Here he is. Ramirez!
Mark up number 2 for the big fullback. Ramon Ramirez played a beautiful 1-2 there and just rattled it through the legs of Craig Forrest. What's this 1-2? Perfectly weighted by Hugo Sanchez, tees it up, wraps it through the legs of Craig Forrest. 2-0 Mexico. This is a clinic on how to play a 1-2. Beautiful first touch, terrific finish, and right now Canada is being destroyed. Whoever said Hugo Sanchez was finished, that was a delightful layoff to Ramon Ramirez. And 2 goals for the big number 18. Boy, for a fullback, he's got great control.
And for Ramirez, his 3rd goal of this round of qualifying. And Canada find themselves very much in trouble, trailing 2-0 into the last 10 minutes of this first half. Bunbury. David Norman at midfield will come wide right.
Uh-oh.
Somebody's pulled looks to be a hamstring. Bunbury with the run couldn't get there. This is Catliff. And Flores gets up, and now a little tug and pull, and Alberto Garcia Aspe is there, and quickly getting in is Mr. Bernie Ulloa.
He's saying to John Catliff, look, you're big enough to take this, but Catliff certainly took some stick there. First from Flores, then from Gutierrez, and the referee chooses just to let play go on.
Mobilio. Looking for Bunbury. Taken neatly by Ramon Ramirez, who has both Mexican goals here in this first half. Carl Valentine in his 29th international for Canada. Juan Ramirez. Ramon Ramirez. Ambriz. Suarez. For Luis Flores. Patino. Sweeney. Hooks it through. Far post. Oh my, Forrest. Getting there just in time to tip it away from Sanchez as it looked like it might be heading for that far side of the net.
Little bit of indecision here as the ball is clipped across the face of the goal. It does come off Frank Yallop, and Hugo Sanchez was right in claiming the corner kick, but he didn't get it. And as we thought, Carl Valentine popped the muscle as he went for that header about 2-3 minutes earlier. So that's another blow for Bobby Lenarduzzi to lose Valentine at this stage of the game.
So Valentine is out, and we will, there you can see Paul Pescisolido is into the game wearing number 12, and immediately earning the corner for Canada. Paul Pescisolido, who has missed the last 2 games with a separated shoulder he suffered in Honduras.
Well, if they push Pesh right up front, at least there'll be a challenge when the ball is knocked forward. So far, Catliff and Bunbury have been 2 against 4, and really the challenge up front hasn't been there, so the ball just keeps coming back. With Pesh up front, they may respect his speed a little more, but it's still hard work in this atmosphere.
Bunbury gets away for Ambriz, but the pass runs too far for Pescisolido. Mexico leads 2-0 World Cup qualifying soccer on TSN. For Canada, we are into the final couple of minutes of this first half. 2 goals by Ramon Ramirez has Mexico in front, and we get a look at the coach of Mexico, 48-year-old Miguel Berón. Luis Flores, slow to get up for the Mexican side. Flores actually going down on a tackle by David Norman. And now play on, the throw in for Canada. And Pescisolido. As you look at Frank Yallop in his 18th international for Canada. Bunbury trying to control and pushed into touch by Ambriz. Throw in for Canada. But while we were away, we were saying that Canada has not had a chance yet in this first half. Here may be a chance. Bunbury to the edge of the box with Suarez. Here's a chance. Oh, Pescisolido was there, and now challenging him is Gutierrez. And did he give a kick to Jorge Campos?
Beautiful play by Alex Bunbury as he beats the defenders, cuts it back to Pesh, who tries to side foot it into the net, doesn't get enough pace behind it, and Jorge Campos picks it up cleanly. Mexican defenders just a little concerned that Paul Pescisolido followed through a little bit as he went past the goalkeeper, got the yellow card for it. And I think that Jorge Campos is making a bit of a meal of it. But at least he's got something to get his uniform dirty for. At least he's hit to handle the ball. There's another look at that beautiful pass back. Pest tries to side-foot it in at the near post. Then as he follows through, just gives him a little token clip, just to let him know he's there. Worth a yellow card, certainly no more. But had Pest driven that ball to the far post, Canada could well be back in the game. But just perhaps a little over casual, maybe not quite up to the pace of the game, having recently come on as substitute. Ooh, hit it.
Juan Ramirez did hit it, and it ricochets off a defender to Craig Forrest. Final few moments of this opening half, and it has been all Mexico. They lead 2-0. Suarez. Ambriz. Sanchez into the middle for Ambriz.
And the running off the ball by the Mexicans right now is absolutely brilliant.
Garcia turns, cross, and headed away by Frank Yallop. Here's a chance, Patino, and reaching up was Forrest.
Two green shirts waiting for it at the far post, but they forgot that Craig Forrest was 6'5". Couldn't quite get it high enough, but not a bad little play by Patino.
Craig Forrest reached into the clouds above Azteca Stadium to pull it down. It remains 2-0 for Mexico.
All this little pushing around that seems so futile by Mexico is making Canada run and chase and tire them out.
Ramon Ramirez, he has two so far. Ramirez, here's another chance, edge of the box. And it was Garcia Aspe with this chance now in injury time.
There is not one green shirt who doesn't love to come forward. Enough red shirts to make that goal very difficult to get, to make sure that they get the next goal, or else it's game over. Mexicans get 3-0 up the way they're playing. Canada can pack it in and go on to El Salvador next week.
And the other thing, Graham, to consider are the number of goals, because at some point in time, if it does turn out to be even at the end of round robin, it comes down to goal difference, and you don't want to give up a pile here to Mexico.
No, you don't, because coming into this game, both Canada and Mexico had 7 goals for, 3 goals against, so Mexico are now 2 goals up in that department.
Mike Sweeney clears for Canada. And right away, as they did the entire first half, the Mexicans taking play to Canada. Flores will lay it off, wide left. Ambriz.
But this is exactly what you expect when you come into a place like Azteca. We said at the beginning of this stage in the tournament that it's most important to win your home games. Canada have won their 2 home games. Mexico have won their 2 home games. This will put Mexico ahead if the score stands up, but Canada still have to entertain Mexico at varsity. So it's still very important to keep the home game streak going, as Pest seems to have injured that shoulder that kept him out of action for the last 2 games.
Still tender, still a little sore, that separated shoulder as he went down in a heap. Here's an opportunity early. Oh my, it just ran by this near post. And Mexico so close to making it a 3-goal game.
Great effort. Just goes wide of the far post as Hugo Sanchez makes a token challenge for it. Never had any chance of reaching up to it, but I'm sure that Craig Forrest had the angle covered. Ball ran nicely for Mexico there, but the finish was just hooked a little past the far post. And as you said, Mexico carrying on where they left off in the first half by taking the game to Canada.
Norman's through pass for Bunbury doesn't reach him. This is Suarez. To midfield for Luis Flores. Lays it off, Patino. Suarez. Flores. Through midfield, and Garcia Aspe controls well. Juan Ramirez. And now the Mexicans guilty of giving it away, and a whistle from Mr. Referee Bernie Ulloa.
Little bit of a handball by Paul Pesky-Solido, and the referee allowing play to go on right after the free kick.
Mexico take it wide left. Yallop will clear for Canada. Ahead for Bunbury, who takes a knock. Play on, says the referee, Mr. Ulloa. Catliff at midfield, fighting off Flores' challenge. Tries to barge through Gutierrez. David Norman with the challenge on Gutierrez. Yallop. Far side of the box. Looking for Catliff, but surrounded by 3 green shirts. Garcia Aspe. This is Flores. Chips it through. Oh my, the chance there for Garcia. Dominic Mobilio. And off the Mexican player, it will go as a Canadian throw-in. You know, this is the 16th international between Canada and Mexico, and the Mexicans obviously have had the advantage, winning 9 and losing just 2. However, when it comes to the Canadian head coach, Bob Lenarduzzi, his last 5 games, well, he has 1 win, 4 ties, and no losses, and looking for a win here at Azteca. Just underway, second half. Mexico with a 2-0 lead over Canada. Garcia Aspe to take this throw in. Juan Ramirez, and cleared away by Canada as the Canadians appear desperate at times. Ambriz, Juan Ramirez. Flores is wide right. Little give and go with Garcia. Ambriz cuts it back, looking for Garcia at the top of the box. He didn't get there. Ahead for Catliff. Play on, says the referee. Does he?
No, he doesn't. Good call by Bernie Ulloa. Little clip of the heels by John Catliff. Bobby Lenarduzzi didn't like it, but no argument with the referee there.
Garcia Aspe to Flores. And back. Pesky-Solido will win the ball at midfield and then just couldn't control. Throw in for Mexico. Luis Torres is the far side linesman. Ramon Ramirez puts it into play. Ramirez, the 2-goal scorer, has them both for Mexico. Suarez through midfield. Ambriz, Flores. Ambriz makes the run, and that's where they'll go. Wide right, and he'll run too far. No sense that the Mexicans are going to get into any kind of defensive shell here. Or do they know what that means?
They know what it means, but they don't know what it means at Azteca Stadium. They obviously want to keep coming at Canada, because the more they can get pressure on Canada, the less chance that Catliff and Bunbury of getting any support from the midfield players, who right now are trying to contain the green shirts. So far, Catliff and Bunbury have been doing a very, very tough job of trying to challenge up front without any support from midfield, because the midfielders have been so concerned about containing the green shirts. It's been an uphill struggle for the whole game, but full marks to Mexico. They're playing really well.
Here's a chance. Suarez cuts it back. Still in play. Finally cleared away by Frank Yallop. As we got a quick look, it appeared to be Marco Rizzi from the Montreal Supra warming up for Canada.
Well, this is Suarez, who's one of the centre-backs who had that chance.
Oh! And
Great
it is
goal.
3-0 Mexico.
Brilliant run to the near post. No chance for Randy Samuel to get the challenge in. Goes in off Craig Forrest. And 3-0 just about puts the finish to it. Clipped in, beautiful run to the near post. Middle flick in as Forrest goes the wrong way. And it's 3-0 as number 15, Luis Flores, celebrates. Great near post run, terrific header. 3-0 Mexico, and really the full value for their win so far. I say win, maybe a little premature, but down 3-0 in the Azteca, a win is very much what it looks like for Mexico. Great run by Luis Flores.
The goal coming in the 8th minute of this second half. The 53rd minute of the game. Luis Flores, Ramon Ramirez, Pesky Solido gets back to make the tackle. Pesky Solido for Canada. Frank Yallop making a run, Catliff, and then Pesky Solido runs headlong into Suarez. And offside on Canada is to Luis Torres. Suarez. Little push in the back, and Garcia Aspe goes down, and the foul is called by Ulloa on Canada. Suarez. Ambriz. Juan Ramirez. Sanchez. Flores, the third goal scorer. Ambriz lays it off. Garcia, 1-2. Here's a chance, and it'll skip off a Canadian defender. As Juan Ramirez, one of the center backs, plays like a striker.
Well, I think fullback, centre-back, midfield winger means nothing in this game. Takes it beautifully, controls it beautifully, and it's deflected high over the bar for a corner kick.
Oh, good save. Forrest cleared away.
Offside, 4 of them.
No flag, though, from the near side linesman, Mr. Horacio Quesada. That ball seemed to almost come back, as if it got caught up in a breeze of some kind.
Well, once again, Randy Samuel confident that it was offside, but failed to get the flag again. As Horacio Quesada refuses to put it up.
Patino, David Patino, leaves it for Gutierrez to put into play. Garcia Aspe to the far side of the box. Colin Miller is there, the Canadian captain. Takes a shoulder and elbow from Sanchez, clears it to midfield.
And Mr. Ulloa had a little word with Hugo Sanchez there, who put his foot right over the ball as Miller cleared it. Crafty old veteran, knew exactly how to hurt Miller there. Very lucky to get away with it.
Bunbury, Ambriz to mark him, Pesky Solido, Dasovic, and the offside flag on the far side.
There's Marco Rizzi, Looks as if he's ready to come into the game. He was troubled earlier in the campaign with a sore back, but seems to have recovered from it.
Bunbury giving chase and loses the race to Juan Ramirez. And one of the few touches of the ball by the keeper.
And you're right about Campos being keen to come out and try his luck with his feet. Of course, he'd no option there with the new rule. But Mexico look as if they're thoroughly enjoying this game. They're in control. The 3 goals up. They're pushing it around. They know that Canada's gasping for air. They know that the challenge is not going to be as strong as perhaps it might have been in the first 10 minutes of the game. So they're really having a great time.
Garcia Aspe plays it through and cleared away by Yallop. Colin Miller from Hamilton in Scotland makes his home in Vancouver.
There you got an idea of what I was speaking about the lack of challenge up front. Catliffe and Bunbury have run so much and chased, they're unable to get into a position to receive that goal from Colin Miller. So rather than risk losing it, all he could do was hit a long ball deep into the Mexican half and hope that it takes about 5 minutes to come back.
Juan Ramirez will go wide left. Sanchez into the box and cleared away by Randy Samuel. 3-0 as the substitution now for Canada, and Dominic Mobilio will come out of the game for Canada. And coming in and wearing number 17 is Marco Rizzi from the Montreal Supra.
Tough game for Dominic Mobilio, trying to concern himself more with containing the Mexican midfield than trying to support Bunbury and Catliffe. An awkward game for a player like Mobilio.
Craig Forrest has been very busy. He's given up 3. The Canadian side has given up 3 so far. And the Mexicans realizing that if goal difference is going to mean something, they want a pile here at Azteca Stadium. Hugo Sanchez shadowing Forrest. Ambriz headed away by Samuel. Gutierrez plays it through. Oh my, the 1-2 between Garcia and Sanchez just fails to work. Sweeney is there, the offside flag, because getting caught behind was Luis Garcia. We've played 61 minutes. 3-0 Mexico. World Cup qualifying soccer on TSN. Rizzi ran over the ball and Suarez brings it back. Garcia Aspe and over the bar. Mexico in control, second half from Azteca here on TSN.
If your family loves the
cross again, looking for Sanchez, and it curved away from Sanchez and into the open arms of Craig Forrest. Luis Flores is all alone, wide left. Flores cuts it back. Garcia waiting, and waited too long. Finally, it's Colin Miller. Played off the back of the head of one of the Mexican players, and then Canada gives it right back at midfield.
And Canada's players right now look absolutely exhausted. John Catliffe there had 2 opportunities to play the ball, just couldn't move his legs. If you've never been in Mexico City, you really don't know what I'm speaking about, but it really does drain you. The atmosphere, the pollution, and the altitude makes it very, very difficult.
As number 19, Luis Salvador, a 24-year-old forward, gets ready to come into the game. Campos goes wide left. Play the little dummy on lovely pass now. This is Garcia. Garcia, Forrest is out to knock it away from Luis Garcia. Flores following up. Flores plays it back. Oh, it brought down was Albegaspe. And now the referee, is he pointing at the spot?
Yes, he's pointing at the spot. And who can blame him? Tackle was a little late, but he's let things go. Much worse than that. Well, a little bit of a dive helps as well, but so far Mr. Bernie Ulloa has been right on the job. He made his decision quickly, stuck by it, and really this is a gift goal for Mexico. I'm surprised that Hugo Sanchez is not taking it.
Alberto Garcia Aspe, who was the player brought down in the box, will take it and try to make it 4-0 Mexico.
No problem at all for Alberto Garcia Aspe as Mexico get a gift goal. They really didn't need it, but you have to be very careful when you're tackling in the box. Good penalty kick, sends Forrest the wrong way. Powerful kick, 4-0 Mexico. And really there's no question as to who are the better side in this game. Mexico are just killing Canada. Penalty kick looks better and better with every replay. But Canadian defenders know when they go into El Salvador or Honduras or Mexico, they have to be very careful when they tackle in the box because that is usually the result.
That goal by Garcia Aspe on the penalty kick comes in the 68th minute. 4-0 Mexico, and it's becoming a rout. And goal difference now looks to be more and more important. Canada's next game will be in El Salvador on the road before coming back to Toronto on Mother's Day, May the 9th, to play Mexico. Yallop is called for the foul as once again it's Garcia Aspe who goes down. Lovely run by the number 10 Garcia. And pardon me, it was Ramon Ramirez who had the opening 2 goals for Mexico in the first half. Luis Salvador appears to be warmed up and ready to come into the game for Mexico. The free kick is cracked off the wall. Ramon Ramirez. Garcia Aspe, near side, Flores. Samuel gets up. Pesquisolido. And nowhere to run for Paul Pesquisolido as Ambriz was there for Mexico. And he'll take the throw in. Ramon Ramirez. And Canadian defenders now. Flores will cut it right back. As Canadian almost look really leg weary.
I think leg weary is an understatement. They've done a lot of chasing. It's much easier to work with the ball at your feet than it is to chase someone with the ball at his feet. And Canada's found that out.
Patino trying to turn on Sweeney. Here's Patino. Patino brought down, penalty.
No way, not this time. He's not going to give 2 in a row.
Rizzi. Frank Yallop to the right side. Ritzi, Pescisolido trying to bust through and can't. And here he is.
Beautiful play by Jorge Campos. Plays like a sweeper. And he's got the skill of a sweeper too. Oh, what a ball.
For Patino. Sweeney to mark him. Patino to the top of the box. Patino plays it through and Forrest is there. And you can see Hugo Sanchez calling for it. Sanchez had already made his run and Patino was pulling the ball back instead of pushing it forward. Gutierrez, Raul Gutierrez for Mexico. 4-0 Mexico lead.
And they love to put some work on the ball. No first time putting it upfield with this Mexican side. They all want to spend a little time with it. First touch is brilliant. Second touch isn't too shabby either. And the third one usually superb.
Patino. As the substitution taking place now for Mexico. And coming in is Luis Salvador for number 10, Luis Garcia.
Not a bad move, remembering that Luis Garcia played for Atletico Madrid on Thursday night in Parma in the semi-final of the Cup Winners' Cup. So he must be a little leg weary even playing in his own Azteca Stadium.
Ritzi plays it forward for Catliffe, and just no spring in the step of Catliffe.
No matter how big the heart, when the legs go, there's no way you can challenge for through balls like that. Catliffe trying his best to make a token challenge, but the legs just are not there. We saw this with Canadian sides in '86 when they played, and it was very, very tough. But this is a learning experience for Canada. It's been an absolutely brilliant performance by Mexico.
Sanchez, Garcia Aspe cuts it back. Oh, it just rolled off the right foot of Sanchez. And Salvador has his first touch for Mexico.
Well, little number 7, David Patino, is very clever on the ball. Took a little dive there, but there was no way that referee Bernie Ulloa was going to give 2 penalty kicks in succession. I think he felt a little guilty about giving the first one on second thoughts. But they're brilliant on the ball. When they've got a 2-goal lead, they're brilliant. When they've got a 4-goal lead, then everybody wants the ball. They're first to the ball, they look much quicker. They look as if they'd 4 more green shirts on the field than there are red shirts.
Well, look at right there, how much more Sanchez had to force Craig Forrest to make a play.
It's a free kick, though, against Hugo. Maybe a crafty old veteran, but he still can't get away with that. And it almost looks as if Bernie Ulloa is apologizing to Sanchez for having to blow down the free kick. Really, no need for it, because Craig Forrest had the ball in his hands.
Samuel through midfield. Ritzi will play it back. Here comes Forrest. Oh, my. As it was Salvador up to challenge, and it was a lazy back pass.
And Salvador remembers the one with the fresh legs, because all the legs are screaming out there.
And headed over the goal line by Samuel. It'll be a Mexican corner, and they lead 4-0.
There you see again the experience of Sanchez just getting in the way of Forrest. He's going to try his shot.
Ambriz tried to put it through Sweeney and couldn't. Ambriz again. Ambriz far post. Nodded away. For Pescisolido. This is wide left now. Pescisolido. Bunbury makes a run in the middle. Pescisolido. Ramirez, pesky solido. Oh, he had Bunbury open top of the 6-yard box and couldn't get it there.
Great covering by Gutierrez, who cut off the cross. Uh-oh, look out.
Here's a through ball. Patino off the crossbar. Patino off the bar. He could have made it 5-0.
And really, the way Patino can move, he could have walked round Craig Forrest. I think he was being a little flashy there and trying to chip him, because Craig Forrest was in no man's land. Canada's defense now just doesn't have the legs to keep up with this Mexican side. I'm not saying Mexican forwards, because every one of this Mexican side is coming forward. It's amazing what a 4-goal lead will do to your stamina, your confidence, and your eagerness to get the ball. When you're down 1-0, you don't want it. When you're up 4-0, everybody wants it.
Flores ahead for Salvador. Samuel for Catliff at midfield. Catliff. Gutierrez marking him. Gutierrez chips it through. Salvador. Sweeney wins the ball for Canada. And this is now Patino. Near sideline, play on, says the linesman. Didn't go over. Patino trying to work on Sweeney. Patino. Oh, there is Forrest as he punched it away. Oh my, Flores thought he had his second.
What a brilliant save by Craig Forrest, as Mexico looked to make it 5.
Garcia Aspe lays it back. Ambriz lays it off. Garcia Aspe. Ambriz. Forrest again for Canada.
And Canada again caught looking for the offside, and they're just not going to get it.
Suarez, this is Juan Ramirez. And they'll go back, and out comes Jorge Campos.
Beautiful ball. The way they are finding space, the green shirts. They're giving a clinic on how to push the ball around, how to run off the ball.
Flores tried to lay it through. The pass cut off. It's Paul Pesky-Solido for Canada. As the Canadians trailing 4-0, look to build a little confidence heading to El Salvador. Pesky-Solido has Bunbury. Top of the box, pushes it back for Pesky-Solido, and then
He's not going to get that.
Juan Ramirez.
Juan Ramirez had always established his territory, and Pesh would have been much better trying to challenge for it than falling over.
Garcia Aspe will come wide right. Oh, Patino does well to keep it in play.
Good player, number 7, David Patino's got through a lot of work, lots of pace.
Here's Patino! Forrest again for Canada. And they're just running circles now around the back 4 of Canada.
And luckily the goalkeeper doesn't have to do too much running, because it looks as if Craig Forrest is the only one whose legs are working right now, and that's not to be unexpected. It's a very, very tough challenge, and Mexico have given a clinic on how to push the ball around.
Bunbury. Dasovic, and this is Catliff, wide left. Catliff works it across, looking for Bunbury. Here's Pesky-Solido trying to cut it back, and he couldn't. He was looking to give it right back to Bunbury.
Well, full marks to young Pesh. Unselfishly tried to lay it off to Bunbury when perhaps he would have been better advised to just crack it at goal.
Patino. Flores.
Brilliant.
Oh my, here they come again. Patino pushes it through. Oh, and once again it's Forrest out. Flores, Mexico in control. Top of the box, the dummy by Salvador, and he actually fooled his teammate.
And I think that the Canadian defense think that Horacio Quesada, the near side linesman, has lost his flag, because 4 times in the last 10 minutes they've stood confidently appealing for offside, and not one has been given. Although from our position, it is very difficult to judge whether or not it was indeed offside, but certainly the red shirts have been standing there calling for it.
Catliffe. This is Dasovic. David Norman. Juan Ramirez marking him. He pushes it through, but there was nobody there making a run for Canada.
Would have been a great ball at Swangard Stadium, but in Azteca Stadium in the last 10 minutes of the game, pretty tough to chase.
Four 0 Mexico. The final few moments. Ambriz Flores, who has the third Mexican goal. Salvador, can he keep it in play? No, it'll run too far.
Goal kick.
Mexico in control, leading 4-0. This is World Cup qualifying soccer on TSN.
Although
Goals in the first half and two more here in the second, leading 4-0 over Canada. Vic Router along with Graham Leggett. World Cup qualifying soccer from Azteca Stadium in Mexico City in front of 120,000 and more.
And the 120,000 must be absolutely delighted, because this has been a very impressive performance by this Mexican side.
Garcia Aspe hooked away by Pesquisolido. Flores, who seems to be all over the field for Mexico, can't control. Miller plays it up too high and over the head of John Catliffe.
Brilliant first touch. The control is superb. Having said that, well, it just shows they are human.
Yeah. Dasovic for Sweeney, who makes the run. And will it be a corner for Canada?
Probably not.
As we are approaching the final 5 minutes of this 90 here in Mexico City, as number 6, Miguel España, has come in for Raúl Gutiérrez. And both teams now making their 2 substitutions. David Norman, far post.
Good goalkeeping. Jorge Campos, it was his ball all the way. Made his mind up early, came out strongly, positively. Great hands. His feet are not bad either, as we've seen in this game.
Patino. Salvador. Plays it behind Patino. España. Suarez. Garcia Aspe. Ambriz Suarez. As now the Mexicans are going to push it around. So you want it, come and get it. Salvador.
Ooh,
off the face of Dasovic.
Feet up there by Salvador. Referee Ulloa right on the spot. Nick takes a little bit of a sick stutter in the nose, but he's going to be okay. No question about it. The foot come up. In fact, a little grab on the shoulder of Dasovic helped to put his head down a bit, which only aggravated the situation. He's a tough guy, Nick Dasovic.
The 24-year-old, a 92 CSL All-Star with the North York Rockets. This is 12th international, Nick Dasovic. And you thought that inserting him into midfield would add a little bite to the lineup.
I thought it would. I was sure that Dasovic would be a ball winner in midfield, but as it turned out, right from the opening kickoff, the Mexican midfield just dominated.
From Mexico, Canada will go on to San Salvador and face El Salvador, and we'll have that game for you as well. Midnight Eastern Time on Sunday, May the 2nd, as Canada now go into El Salvador after this game here and really must win that one, Graham.
Well, they must get a result out of San Salvador. Remember, Mexico now has used up all its home games. It has to go to Honduras now, and it already lost in El Salvador. So Mexico has got 2 away games to come. Canada still has to entertain Mexico at Varsity Stadium. So this has been a loss for Canada, but it's not the end of the competition by any means.
No. Yeah, the thing about the Honduran team is that they really are in disarray. They've lost their coach, Malinowski. They probably have lost their funding. Their whole program may be in disarray. By the time the game comes up next week, they may not even have a team. Who knows?
They may not have a team, but I tell you, they've got some brilliant little players. Super little players in the Honduran side. And Mexico look now as if they're just content to play out time. 4-0's a nice confident win. Excellent performance. Canada really never looked like getting into this game. It's been Mexico from start to finish. Had Paul Pesquisolido converted that chance just before half-time and made it 2-1, could have changed things, but as it stood, Canada really have never had a chance of winning this game.
Suarez to midfield for Mexico, leading 4-0. And on their way to taking over first place in the group standings. And Canada will suffer their first loss, and there you can see it, Mexico moving on top, 1 point ahead of Canada. El Salvador and Honduras also playing this weekend. Bunbury plays it back. Dasovic. This is Randy Samuel, who's made a couple of runs.
And Catlett running forward for the through ball. Saw the green shirts come out, but just didn't have the legs to stop and come back again. The big man has run well, but this is not the conditions under which Catlett shines, having to chase balls in this altitude.
Salvador to the far post, looking for Sanchez, and gathered in by Craig Forrest. Injury time at Azteca Stadium. 4-0, Mexico leading.
And there you can see the agony on Dasovic's face. Not through getting a knock, but just through sheer exhaustion. He's trying so hard to keep going, but he doesn't have to go any further because there goes the final whistle.
Mexico handily beating Canada 4-0 as Ramon Ramirez scores 2 singles to Flores and Garcia Aspe. Mexico on top of the group standings, World Cup qualifying soccer.